Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the R Squared podcast. My name is Rajat,
And it's your boy Rishman over here. What's up, everybody?
and today joining me and Rishi is a very special guest. He's a boxing coach. He's a fitness instructor. He's
And
an
a
ex
living
MMA
legend.
fighter.
A living
He's a
legend.
living legend. Yeah, he's a man who wears a lot of hats.
Yep.
Yeah, we have Coach Sabastian here with us. Coach, thank you for coming on.
Hey, thank you so much, guys. Good to be here, and nice of you guys to have me. As you guys said, I'm Coach Seba, gym instructor, boxing coach, and all the above.
Nice, nice. So before we get into everything that you are doing, so you are currently Rishi's trainer. So how
Yeah,
we
yeah.
start with how did that come about? How did you meet Rishi and start training him?
Okay. Me and Rishi met. It's been how many years now? Because today we were just discussing this, and you're like, a year's passed. It's almost like we've trained
Yeah,
for 2 years.
we started in I think June, beginning of June 2023. So
Yeah, 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 yeah,
it's
yeah.
time has gone
It's
fast.
it's
It's
almost
crazy.
2025.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah. So I knew Rishi through the brother, so I used to train the brother at the gym. Yeah, we used to do a lot of boxing, lot of compound training. We used to go crazy. Yeah. Then flash forward, life happened. Yeah. Then I started training Rishi at home. He has a home gym, an awesome home gym.
So yeah, as we said before, you wear many hats, and so clearly fitness is a big part of your life. So can you tell us how did it start, this whole fitness journey of yours?
Okay. My journey in fitness is kind of interesting because it started way back before I even knew what I was getting myself into. First and foremost, I had an uncle who was a bodybuilder. My dad played boxing. Most guys in our family relatives were into football, boxing, or rough sport. So I used to be those kids that you usually see in the gym running around, messing up with dumbbells and stuff, sleeping under the treadmill. It was just crazy. Then you grow up, you start playing football, you start playing boxing and stuff. Then after school, it becomes something you do for fun. Yeah. So I remember like the most incident was there's this trainer called Brenda. She's a trainer abroad right now. She's in Bahrain. So Brenda used to call me on Saturday. She'd be like, "Yo, Sebas, you come and stay in the gym for me. I go run some errands." Then I used to do that. I'd come with my friend, show them how to squat and stuff. It was funny. Then Brenda would give me like a 50 bob or buy me fries. I used to love fries a lot.
How old
So
were you? How old were you at that time?
this time I was like around Form 2, Form 3. I was a school kid. So it just leave me in the gym for like 2, 3 hours. Then it reached a time I felt like she was using me. So I'd refuse. Then Brenda would be like, come, I'll give you 200 bob. So flash forward after I finished school, when I was in college, I used to do this part time. Yeah. So funny enough, by the time I was becoming a fitness trainer, I'd look back and realize that most of these things, like, they're not coincidences in life. Like, everything usually happens for a reason. Yeah. Plus the biggest moment was when I was in college, and I had to hustle here and there. So I'd find myself training guys in the gym and stuff. I used to volunteer at Kasarani Sports V Hotel. There's a guy called Gabriel Katei. Katei, may his soul rest in peace. I used to go there as a volunteer for free, because the gym that I used to train guys at was a hood gym, but now Kasarani Sports Hotel was like a posh gym with treadmills and stuff. And as guys from the hood, seeing things like treadmills and stuff, you'd even stay there for free. I just wanted to see what elite trainers, like big trainers in big gyms, do that us we don't do in the hood gyms. So this particular day, the aerobics instructor came in late because they used to have like freelance trainers for the classes. So Gabu was like, "Hey Seba, warm the class. Chalo is running in late." So I hammered those guys, went insanity on them. So by the time the trainer was coming, everybody was done. So the next week they called me in for now a full class, and that's how I started getting paid. Yeah. But apart from that, going back to like my fitness journey, started boxing early. But before boxing, I started with taekwondo. Before I even knew what I was doing, because you see, like where I was raised, there were so many opportunities. You see, like guys like us that were raised in the hood, like there were some privileges that some guys didn't have. Like around where we used to stay, there was a boxing gym, there was a Maisa, there was a playing ground for Maisa. We used to play rugby, and luckily, my best friend in class, Tony Suji, the uncle was called Martin Suji. He was in the national team, so it was a cricket national team. So he used to come with the balls, teach us how to. Still class 4, class 5. Shikanda was in the national team. He was living in our hood. So he'd come to our primary school, Resambu Primary, and teach us how to floor the ball. This is rugby. Mind you, I'm still playing boxing. So me, I was interested in all these sports. Football was a no-brainer. Everybody was playing football in our hood because Maisa was just there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I fell in love with boxing because I was a kid with a bad temper and too much energy. So imagine you having a bad temper with too much energy. So boxing resonated with me because plus the discipline was kind of key. Because most of the time you'd go to the gym, someone when you're doing sparring, someone punches you, you get angry, they take you to class. Because you know boxing, when you get angry, you lose focus, and then the other person hammers you. So you learn how to control your anger slowly by slowly. So me, I don't get angry when I do this. Even if I was pissed, I'll have to calm down, reset, then play around with you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So
at what age did you start boxing?
class 5.
Class 5. Okay. So
Yeah,
around
yeah.
10, 11, like that.
Yeah. I just used to go to the gym, remove my uniform, place
Okay.
it there on the side. So the coach had one rule: if you fight in school, don't step into my gym. So it kind of helped control us in a way. So you'd come, train, box, do everything, but no fighting in school. So even used to send for some of our parents, because in order for him to teach us, he had to get a consent from some of our parents. Yeah, but my mom was kind. I never brought my mom in. Plus, I was a quick learner, so the coach really wanted to keep me in the gym. So even me, without bringing my mom too, because my mom would have refused. I was a menace. Yeah. So form one. By the time I was like in class 8, from class 7, class 8, form 1, form 2, I was competing like Kenya Open. Form 2, I almost got into the junior team. I made it into the junior team. They were going to Olympics, they were going to London, but something happened. I had to go to school. So they were like, "Hey, Seba, you just go to school when the time is right, we'll come for you." So flash forward, you're in school, you're seeing the team is already leaving. Yeah, I cried a little, then came back home and continued boxing. But it was fun. Yeah. So another thing that kind of pushed me into fitness, when you're a kid and you are in scouts and accidentally you become a scouts leader and you're commanding guys and you're telling them what to do. So currently looking at my current situation right now, when you're a trainer, you're always telling guys what to do. So I kind of feel like the universe was grooming me. Yeah, I bully guys, but in a good way. Plus I'll gauge, I'll see how far I can push you. Yeah, and I'll verbally abuse you, but in a nice way, like Rishi is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Exhibit
nice.
A, B, and C.
and Navraj, yeah. So there's a day Navraj we were training, and Navraj was like, "I've never been abused this much in my entire life," and we had just trained for a month. Yeah, it was interesting.
Okay, nice, nice. So I'm very curious about. So you said you started competing when you were in like class 8, class 9, class 10.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
can you just describe a bit about how that is? Because we see boxing. A lot of us see the big fights, the world championship fights,
Professional
where
boxing.
yeah, it's very it's very glamorous and all that stuff. But what's
Yeah.
happening in like in that at that level? When you're in the hood,
So
grinding it out.
um, so we have two types of boxing. We have amateur boxing and professional boxing. And
Mhm.
amateur boxing it's more controlled by the AIBA. AIBA is the International Boxing Association. So it's the world governing body that controls like the rules and everything. So they're the ones who usually organize the elite level. You can go at amateur boxing is the Olympics. But professional boxing, it's more elite because it's usually like it's not as controlled as amateur boxing. Plus amateur boxing, you only fight for 3 rounds. 3 minutes, 3 rounds. Plus, it's very much controlled. It's so rare, like it has never happened. Like I don't think anybody has ever died in an amateur boxing ring. So, back in the days, there used to be a certain way. In order for you to become a pro, you had to fight. You had to start with amateur boxing, because most guys will start as kids, because it's so hard to find someone starting boxing, amateur boxing, as a grown up. So you start as kids, go to the junior stages, then graduate with time. So let's say like you have a kid and they want to play boxing. I'll start them up with we usually start with novices. It's a competition where it's like a selection. So we start with let's say this is Eldoret. So we'll do an Eldoret novices, then Eldoret intermediate. But before the intermediate, we'll do Eldoret novices, then take all these guys that won, because we have 12 weight classes. So we have we have featherweight, bantamweight, no, we have flyweight, feather, flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, light welter, middle, light heavy, heavyweight. So all these weight classes, let's say we are doing Eldoret novices, yeah. So we'll have a winner for each category, boys, girls aside. Plus before that, we'll have junior novices, where it's only the juniors under 17. So after that, we'll go for the national novices, which every person will go to represent their county at the national level. You're getting? Then after the novices, we'll have intermediates. Yeah. So like currently, like here in Eldoret, if I start hosting boxing events, I'll start from the novices, then take them to national novices. So anybody that has won, like, will take number 1, 2, and 3 to the national novices. So the number 1, 2, and 3, they'll already have qualified to now start fighting in elite level amateur boxing. So it's usually like a selection for anybody. So if you haven't been selected, you haven't won the novices, it means you're not yet ready to compete, because this is boxing. It's a dangerous sport and people get hurt. So you need to prove that you can hang in there with the big boys when the league starts. So we'll do amateur, we'll do novices, then we'll do intermediate, then national intermediate. Then after that, all these guys that participated in the national intermediate and the novices are eligible to fight in the league. And also that means that whenever Kenya Open happens, because Kenya Open is usually a selection for the national team to go to the Olympics. Yeah, it usually means that you are capable of. So you can go straight into the national open. If you win, you can get selected into the national team. So they don't just look at you. You have to be like the best in that category in order for you to make it to the team. So under each weight category, they're only getting, it's an individual sport. Yeah, it's not a group sport. It's an individual. Though when you're training and stuff, you're a team.
Yeah. So
So
which weight category were you competing in?
When I was a kid, I used to fight at featherweight. When I was in
And what weight is that roughly? Is that like
featherweight
what
is
in how-
57, 58
Okay.
kgs. Yeah,
Okay. Right.
then the more you keep growing, the more weight you add. So the most weight I fought at was 60 kgs lightweight. Yeah, and lightweight was so ideal for me because most of the guys that were fighting at lightweight are my height. So if I'm too heavy and I'm fighting at maybe, let's say, welterweight, 64 kgs, most of the guys are way taller than me. And in boxing, there's something we call reach. So when someone is taller than you, their reach is longer than you. So it means they are at an advantage. Yeah. So it will be up to me to cut weight down to where most guys are at the same height as me. So like for example, the last time I fought, though this was an MMA fight, but 2021, I had to lose 10 kgs in 2 weeks because I was fighting at 64 kilos and I was 75 kgs.
So
Yes.
that's actually another thing I wanted to touch upon. I'm glad you mentioned is the weight cutting, because I know in boxing and in MMA like UFC, a lot of the athletes walk around at a higher weight than they compete at. And so usually in the last couple of weeks they do a lot of weight cutting. There's a lot of like sweating involved just to make that weight. So can you talk? Yes. Can you talk a bit about like yeah, some of the methods used and like how difficult it is because it's very tough on the body, right?
So anytime the word combat sports come into play, yeah, the hardest thing, like the hardest thing that most fighters usually fear is weight cutting. Be it MMA, be it boxing, be it taekwondo, be it karate. Weight cutting is usually, that's when you know who you are. Yeah, you've heard that saying, you are who you think you are. That's when you know who you are. Because it's usually hard, because most of us, you see, like me right now, currently I'm at 85 kilos. Yeah, I'm a big boy right now, 85 kgs. But if I decide I'm fighting, I'm comfortable fighting at 65 kilos. So I'll need
Wow,
to
that's
I'll
a lot.
I'll need to program myself. I'll need to know when I'm fighting. I'll need to start dieting immediately. Like the minute the fight is announced, you need to start training, you need to start cutting weight. And like cutting weight is different, because you can be, some of the toughest boxers out there usually retire early because of the weight cutting, because the older you get, also the harder it becomes. So like me, during that time when I was going to fight the MMA fight, it was under short notice. I only had 3 weeks to prepare. Yeah, first week I was told, but it wasn't confirmed. So I had to start training immediately. I used to run for like 20 kilometers thrice a week.
Oh
you
wow.
just you
Okay.
just have to, and you have to do it from around 9 when the sun is up, from around 9 up to 12, or between 11 to 2. And you have to put on jumpers and jackets. It's like you're wearing a sauna. But that's the old school method, though it's not recommended, because people like me, we were trained by old school coaches, so that's what we used to do. Yeah, we used to do like crazy road work. But I was lucky enough, because I was training at Troopers Fun and Fitness, and they have the facilities. They have a sauna, they have a swimming pool and stuff. So it was easier for me. Plus the dieting part, I had to cut like my carb intake for almost completely. Yeah,
But
it
bro,
was
let
a
me let me let
tough.
me let me ask you: didn't you ever overtrain or reach a point whereby you felt your body was just so damn exhausted? Then what do you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah. Yeah.
situation?
Yeah, most fighters usually pull out of fights a day to the fight because of overtraining. Because like you really really want to make weight. Yeah, so sometimes your mind switches. Plus I'm getting older. I'm not as the way I used to be. Back then I used to run on a treadmill. I'd do like 5 kilometers in under 25 minutes. Yeah, right now I can only manage 5 kilometers in under 35 minutes. Yeah, so it was tricky, because it's more mental. Yeah, but I had to play around with my nutrition. Plus
Yeah.
peer nutrition was yeah.
Yeah, so on that nutrition aspect as well, what exactly are you doing to ensure that you are still cutting weight, but you're not losing like the strength and the muscle from your body?
Yeah, so about that, I'll have to go back to being trained by old school coaches. Some of these coaches were not trained coaches. They had not done nutrition. They were not like us. Yeah, the only thing they know was boxing, and they'll only train you the way they were trained. So if their coach was telling them to do 100 kilometers, and back then you couldn't question the coach, so that's what they used to do to us. Yeah. uh so sometimes you'd end up burning out, then you'll skip maybe like a day, then come back to it. um the nutritional part and the weight cutting, I know, Rishi, I know you're curious about how my where I used to get the energy to train when I'm dieting and when I'm cutting down on carbs and stuff. Yeah. Okay, to people like us that have boxed for years, it's more of a mental, like, you just block everything out. You die if you have to. Okay, I wouldn't train. I wouldn't train my guys that way, but us, that's how we were conditioned. Like in our gym, we used to have like a bucket for puking and one for washing your face when you nosebleed, and we were
That's
just
classic.
kids. Yeah, 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 that's how
Crazy.
bad it was. Like our sparrings were savage, and especially when the coach wasn't there, you die. If you hear we were doing sparring and the coach traveled, don't show up to the gym. Yeah, because that's where people will settle scores. So I'd minimize my carbohydrates to a minimum. First, I'll do away with bread, chapo. I'd do away with so many foods. I'll only, like, I remember that time, the only carbs I used to take were bananas only. For 2 weeks I had to like go hard on my protein, though I lost some muscle. Like I think I'll share a picture with you when I was like when during the weighing, I was 64 kilos. My abs were showing, my ribs were showing, and the day before the fight, even your cheekbones are out. You look like a zombie. Yeah, so what most old school boxers usually struggle through is the conditioning that you had to go through as at a young age. Then you reach a point where like you are like around in our gym, we have a nutritionist. I've done nutrition. Yeah, I've done nutrition. We have a nutritionist in the house, but still you'll find yourself going back to because you feel like it used to work for you back then, so it still work right now, forgetting that you're not as young as you used to be. Yeah. And things are changing and the way people are training are changing. So what really helped was the running. Sauna came in handy. The aquaerobic sessions came in handy because I'd do like 1 hour aquaerobics, then go and just sit in the sauna and lose all the water, because when we are weight cutting, most of us, we usually try to lose as much water from our system, because if I lose let's say like a liter of water, I can easily replace it overnight by just hydrating. But if you lose like muscle, like 10 kgs of muscle, you can't recover that overnight. Yeah. And it will take you some time, so by the time you're fighting, you won't be as strong.
Let me ask you, bro. There's one thing I wanted to ask you. Like, when it comes to it was
Yeah.
so the question was that, currently there's a lot of debate and information out there on Instagram or wherever, saying that,
Yeah.
people who run too much, you're breaking down your muscles if you don't weight train, so it's bad for you in the future. Only like it's good to build your muscles to help you for your structure when you're older. The reason I ask you this is because you and me, literally in we're living in a place where some of the best athletes come from in the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
runners
Yeah.
especially, and we
No,
know how they are
no,
when
some
they're
of
elderly.
no the best. No, the best athletes in the world come from here. Not some of, like all of them. Basically, to some extent, most of those guys are right. Like too much cardio. Sometimes when you're doing too much cardio, you lose fat, but mostly your muscle also goes. Because if you look at most boxers, they're not that built. The muscle they've got lean muscle. So old school fighters, most fighters used to die in the ring not because of the punch or the stuff, it's the exhaustion and the weight cutting, the rapid weight cutting and stuff. Because running too much, it's not safe. I wouldn't recommend for younger boxers that are upcoming. But I think even older generations were built different. Because kids nowadays, Gen Zs, you take them through that, they'll say, forget with your gym. Yeah,
That's
they
true.
wouldn't
That's
last.
actually
Yeah.
true.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Things are
yeah.
different nowadays. Like people are built different nowadays. Back then, people are hard. Like I'm not saying I'm hard. I'm soft. But back then, people were so strong. Yeah. Plus, it's all mental. Plus, genetics usually play a role. Yeah. Like me, I'm always doing cardio. I'm always running. I do aerobics classes. I do aquaerobics classes. And if I decide to get fat, I'll get fat, whether I'm training or not. I'll just have to eat badly. You just have to eat hamburgers and stuff. Yeah. But what people usually say about too much cardio, it's true, because when you're running for longer distances and you're running on tarmac, it usually does a number on your knees also. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be smart about your weight cutting so that you don't lose too much muscle. That's where like the small knowledge in nutrition comes in, because you're going to be losing a lot of muscle. You have to increase your protein intake, then slightly lower your carb intake, then increase your vegetables, because you need all the vitamins you can get. Yeah.
But bro, that whole thing of the dirty bulk, like eating
Yeah. Yeah.
absolute trash junk to get to
Yep.
that weight that you need to, like, okay, say because you carb load like crazy, right? The day before
Yeah.
the fight, after the weight is done.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
does that actually affect you?
Okay, carb loading is usually mostly done by bodybuilders. Yeah, because they need to recover the energy back that they lost during weight cutting. Because bodybuilders weight cutting is a lot more different than what boxers usually do. Them they'll minimize their cardio, go hamburgers on the weights, then minimize their carbs, go high on protein plus the supplements, and some will go for the trend, the steroids and stuff. So theirs is a little bit more different. Plus, they'll be key on like reducing their water, their body water, so that when you're out when your tissue body tissues absorbs water, becomes, it's like a normal tissue, the one in the toilet. It absorbs all the water, then it becomes bigger. Yeah, you're getting. So
That's the best.
you did.
Wait, let me just acknowledge that
Yeah,
explanation. I think we all really appreciate
yeah.
that explanation.
Yeah. So uh when you drain yourself, when you drain the water on your body, the skin becomes thinner, so the muscles show, like they're more visible. Yeah, as boxers we reduce the water for our weight to go down, actual weight. Yeah, because you need to make weight. Otherwise you get penalized, get fined, or the fight can even be cancelled.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
so then between the time you make weight and then the fight, then what are you doing to replenish your energies?
Okay, professional boxing, you'd weigh in today and fight tomorrow. Amateur boxing, like you'd weigh in like around 9 in the morning, and maybe the number of bouts are many and you're fighting at 12, so you don't have
Oh
enough
wow,
time to
okay.
recover.
Oh wow,
Yeah, and
crazy.
you don't have enough time to recover. So what you usually do, you'll make sure your team comes in the earliest at around 8. You weigh in, you go somewhere, you eat, you find somewhere to sleep, because sleeping is usually the best form of recovery. Even bodybuilders, they do that. You find somewhere, you sleep for the remaining 2 hours or 3 hours. Then maybe at 1, at 2, when you're fighting, if you're fighting at 12, bad luck. Yeah. So for us, other people will use like pre-workouts and stuff, but some pre-workouts might be having banned substances, but some people usually cheat. So some anti-doping bodies usually test you before and after. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not usually advisable for you to take pre-workout during a competition. You'll only need it when you're training for the fight, because during competition you need to be as legit as you can be, as pure, because they might decide to test your urine, and maybe not even the supplement was tainted, but maybe you shared the scoop. Yeah, and things usually happen. Plus also
Yeah.
when you are under medication, it usually messes things up. But amateur, we are not usually tested that much. We only tested as much when you're at a national level, when you're competing maybe for the Olympics, African games and stuff, when you're representing the country, because they don't want you to go out there and test positive when you're already in the team and you're representing the country. So they rather do their due diligence here, test you here before you go out. Yep.
But then before reaching that stage, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are trying to reach national team level and they want to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Is it very common to see people doping or cheating just to reach that stage?
In amateur boxing, not so much, because amateur boxing, most people that fight amateur boxing are people from the hood. They don't have money to even buy supplements. Yeah, that's why
Okay.
even my team here, I can't take certain people to compete. I'll go to the hood and get guys from Langas. That's what I did with the team. Rishi, you've seen my guys. They're usually guys from the hood, like,
To be
so
fair, to be fair, these guys have seen some of the guys you train. Like, yeah, they're hard.
they're
I think that's the best
hardcore, like,
definition to give them.
and they don't mind getting punched in the face.
And you know what's crazy? Some of these guys are so slim, like they're so thin. So you think, oh, nah, this guy is a pushover. I can push him. Next thing you know, hey, you're three
Yeah, yeah,
dimensions
yeah.
being slapped away.
Yeah, when you're just doing soft sparring. No, they're not slim, they're lean. You don't call our boxers slim, you say they're lean. It's lean muscle. Okay, so So back on your on your level, or the competition and the using of supplements, not as much because they're not easily available for these guys. Maybe guys that are fighting pro, because most people that are fighting pro, they do it as a part-time job, so maybe they are earning and stuff. Yeah, because it's so hard to do to just focus on boxing only in Kenya. Yeah, you'll go broke because you'll be fighting like once a year then. Plus, it doesn't pay as much right now because maybe, I don't know, marketing, the exposure isn't out there. Yeah. Because in boxing in Kenya, we usually fell on the marketing side. You see things like rugby, basketball, you'll find that the exposure is there because most of these athletes, they are also the same guys in the industries. They are the marketers, they are the IT guys. So they know how to get their friends to come and support what they're doing. But mostly boxers, you'll find mostly guys from the hood. I don't mean to give it a bad rep, but it's true. You'll find the guys from the hood. They're the ones that are interested in fighting. Like you, maybe you are an engineer, maybe you're a pilot. You don't want people hitting you on the head, then tomorrow you're driving a plane.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like
That's
the
true.
best
That's true.
example, there's this kid I train. This kid is learning to be a pilot. Yeah. And the father is one of the biggest lawyers in this town. So imagine that kid going home with a concussion after boxing.
You're in
Uh,
trouble then.
yeah, the father is the biggest lawyer and
Yeah.
is studying to be a pilot.
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, plus also another thing, boxing is kind of weird in Kenya because it's controlled by the armed forces. Yeah. It's controlled by the armed forces. So you'll find that most of the referees, most of the judges, especially amateur boxing, armed forces usually keep a tight grip because that's the only time they'll get to brag that police defeated KDF defeated prisons. So they usually keep a tight leash on boxing. So you'll find most of us, you'll go, you compete, then you get robbed, maybe because those guys, they want their people from the Kenya police to go and represent the country so that it lifts their name. So that one usually happens so many times. So even some of my guys, when they're fighting in the national league and they're fighting a guy who's a Kenya police, I'm not saying the police guys are not good or the KDF guys, the military guys are not good. They're the best that we have because they usually scout around. They see, Sebastian's team has got a good lightweight. They'll come poach him, give him a job in the military. He becomes a soldier or he becomes a cop or a prison warder. Yeah, so that's why you'll find like almost all the best boxers we have, it's either Kenya police, KDF. They don't mind your age as long as you are the one who's dominant in that weight category. They'll make sure you're one of them because they're the ones who are controlling this fight. It will be so hard for you to find like a civilian boxer in the national team, though it happens, but very rarely. You make it into the national teams, they'll come for you and they'll give you an offer you can't refuse. Mind you, not forgetting most of these guys are from the hood, they're jobless. Yeah, like my
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
my guys can't afford to pay for gym. I usually have to find a way of bringing them in. When the boss asks, "Hey, Seba, your boxing numbers are down, and I'm seeing your room is always full," I'll have to explain to them it's part of marketing because the more the larger the number, yeah, the more interesting it feels. Yeah. Plus, most people, it's marketing. People will come where there are people. Yeah. So it usually helps me
Yeah.
market boxing in a way. Yeah. It
Yeah.
usually helps
Yeah.
me.
So okay. And now I want to also ask about, now when you're in the ring, because I think I agree with you. I think if someone has, a nice job, a very relaxed life, I don't think you can have that inner fighting instinct in you.
Mm.
So, I mean, tell me, like, when you're going in the ring and then it's one-on-one, what's your mindset? Are you like, I want to kill this guy? Because I've heard this saying, I don't know who said it, but it's like, everyone has a plan until they're hit in the face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, tell me, when you go in the ring and it's one-on-one, you want to smash that guy. That guy wants to smash you. What are you thinking? What's going on in your head?
Um, I can there are two ways. There are two ways about it. One way is for an experienced fighter. Yeah, you've done it before. It's not new. Someone punches you, you put your guard up, you recover, you come back. For people that have never fought or people that have never been hit in the face, it's different because most boxers will go for your head and mostly your jaw, this area. So anytime you get hit in your jaw, it shakes your brain. So it's a different feeling. It's something you've never felt before. Yeah. The shock is usually it usually throws you off guard. Yeah, but for us, like you've trained in the gym, you've been hit several times, and most of us sparrings are usually more brutal than the actual fight. Yeah, you get
Okay.
injured in the gym. So for experienced fighters, it's something that you've been there before. You've been hit, you've been KO'd in the gym. So by the time you're fighting, like you've seen the worst, like worst case scenario. The worst thing that can happen is maybe you die, but uh it can't get to that because you also have a trained fighter. Plus also the confidence that this other person also is feeling the same way you're feeling. Because when you're squaring off with a person and you're about to fight, yeah, um everybody is usually scared. Both parties are usually scared for the fear of the unknown. Yeah, because you don't know what
Yeah.
might happen, especially if you're standing against someone you've never seen before. It's a new opponent. Everybody is usually scared. Mark Tyson used to say before his fight he was always scared to death. Then the
Right.
moment you enter into
Okay.
the ring and somebody throws that fast punch, and maybe his reputation was KOing people. He had like 200 KOs, zero losses. Then he punches you. Then you realize maybe all those guys were pussies. He doesn't hit as hard. Then it gives you maybe your chin is harder. But once he punches you and you punch him back, then you realize he's human like you. Anything can happen. Yeah. You can have a bad day in the office. Yeah. Plus, there's something you asked uh, about guys that have like so much to lose. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most fighters, they don't have too much to lose. When you have less to lose, plus this guy has trained. Yeah. Like flashback, class 4, everybody's being asked what they want to be when they grow up. Me, I said I wanted to join the military and go to fight. So you can imagine the kind of mentality I've always had since as a kid. So seeing me right now fighting, like most guys are usually not surprised when they see me into boxing and I'm coaching guys and I'm holding pads, and sometimes they miss, they punch me in the nose. It happens so many times, like Rishi. Yeah. So most guys that have known me and known people like us for the longest time, they're not surprised. Yeah. But everybody is usually scared. Even if I square off with you right now, I know I can kick your ass, but I don't really know you that well. So there's an element of mystery to it. So everybody fears what they don't know. But when it comes to boxing, we put on the gloves. I really can't explain it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you maybe talk about maybe like one of your fights, like a fight that was really hard, one of your favorite fights that you have done?
Okay. 2013. 2013. Last amateur boxing fight. It was a Nairobi versus Prisons. I was fighting against Modo. We used to call him Stephen Kimani from Kenya Prisons. Me, I was fighting for Nairobi, and this was like he was ranked number 2 in East Africa, because the person who was ranked number 1 was his fierce opponent. He's called Denis Okoth. We call him Billabong. Denis Okoth was like right now he's based in the US. He's still fighting. He's still fighting right now. He's one of those toughest guys that are there, but they're not yet known right now. So Steven was feared, but plus everybody feared Modo. We used to call him Modo. The late uh, died some months after that tournament. Got shot. They robbed a supermarket. Long story. He was fighting for Kenya Prison, but they hadn't employed him yet, because they let you fight for them for some time before they actually give you a contract. Yeah. So most of the guys from the hood, I'll come back to that. So it was an interesting fight because I was scared to death. This was one of the hardest guys in lightweight, 60 kgs, and he was ranked number 2 in Kenya. And me, I was just Seba. Yeah. It was a nice fight because when the fight started, I almost KO'd him. Yeah, and everybody was like and people were shouting and my corner and everybody was celebrating and stuff. The fight has just begun. It was round 1. Yeah.
How many people are there how many people are there watching
Um,
roughly? Do you know?
it wasn't as many because it's amateur boxing. Plus,
Yeah, yeah.
Kenya, the fan base is not as big, so you'll find maybe my friends, people in my
Okay.
team, and people in the other team, and all the teams that were there. So you'll find most of the fans are boxers. They
But
everybody knows
also,
everybody. Yeah,
Kenya boxing at one point in time in 1980s, 1990s, I think we reached the quarterfinal semis on the global stage. So Kenya was quite a dominant force. And then, of course,
yeah, yeah,
sadly, due to corruption and money swindling as usual, the
yeah.
sports decline happened. The talent is there, though.
Back then we had 8 gold medals, if I'm not wrong. When Napunyi Wangila got he was the first African to win a gold medal in boxing. Napunyi
In
Which
the
Wangila.
is
Olympics?
amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, 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 in the
in the
Olympics. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay. Wow.
Back then, it was kind of different because sports was our President Moi was so big on sports. Plus, there's something different back then. Even the way they were training, it wasn't as it is right now. Plus, back then, even the people that were going for athletics, most people had no idea that you could go to abroad, compete in the Olympics, and come back a millionaire. Like it wasn't a
Okay.
business as it is right now. Yeah.
Right,
So
right. Yeah.
boxing wasn't too much corrupt as it is right now. Plus, something weird happened in Nakuru because most of the guys that were in that team were from Nakuru. There was an amateur boxing club in Nakuru, and I don't know. It was I don't know. Plus, most of our private sector were sponsoring sports back then. So you could easily get a job. Most of the big clubs were Posta, Railways Club, Kenya Breweries. Like it was mandatory for these clubs to at least take in a team. So if you are playing for Tusker, you'd easily get a job in Kenya Breweries Limited. Right nowadays they call it EBL, East African Breweries Limited. Posta, Kenya Railways, like even in Eldoret, we used to have a team which was being sponsored by I think Rivertex. Yeah, so this was encouraging guys to come into boxing because you could get a job, you could easily get employed, you could easily get employed. So the morale was high because most of these guys they could now go and box as a full-time gig. You'd go maybe to the factory like in the morning, then get released because you're representing the factory, the company. Yeah, so most boxers that came out during those days were very good. Remember, even our football team Arambe Stars was very good back days. There's a time did we ever win the African Cup of Nations? There's a time we were forced to reckon with during those days. Yeah, because we used to have companies like seriously sponsoring sports, private sector. It was mandatory. Like Moi didn't used to joke. So through that, most young guys could get into sports because even if you're a boxer and you get injured or you retire, you still continue with your work. But nowadays, you'll choose between boxing and work. I rather go and hustle like it's end month. I need to pay rent. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I won't say per se it was only corruption that dimmed our light in sports, but there were so many factors, policies also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, and sorry, can you also get back to the fight that you were
Yeah.
talking
So,
about with Modem? I'm
yeah.
really
So,
interested to know the.
so I knocked down Kim in the first round. He came back. And when you knock down somebody, so when you're punched and you fall, we call it a knockdown. When you fall and you don't get up, it's a KO. Yeah, it's a knockout. Um, so that was a knockdown. So when you're fighting and you are fighting someone and you are an underdog and you knock them down, yeah, and this guy is older than you, more experienced than you, stronger, more skilled, and you just knock them down because they got carried away. Maybe they got sloppy. Yeah, because my boxing back then wasn't. It was polished. It was nice, but I wasn't on his level because this is a guy who had represented us in East African games and stuff. Yeah, then me there was after fighting in the juniors. Then now I'm fighting in the nationwide league and I'm fighting Modo. He almost killed me at the end of the first round, so I was saved by the bell. But the referee was mostly leaning towards my side because I was the underdog. Second round, I don't know what happened. Yeah, because I was fighting for my life. I was just running around the ring with your guard up. Third round was interesting because
Why is it because in the first round he hit you really hard, so you were still
no,
in
no,
the
no, no,
second
no.
round you
I'm the
was
one. I'm the one who knocked him down. So he was trying to knock me
okay.
out.
Okay,
Cause
okay. He was
yeah, yeah. Cause
okay,
if cause he realized I had the potential to knock him out. Once you've knocked
okay,
somebody
okay.
down, you can easily replicate that. Yeah. So he wanted to get me out of there. So it was now serious business. He wasn't going to toy around with me. Yeah, and it was almost like you're fighting for your life, but it's fun and people are shouting and screaming your name, and others are abusing you, and others are like, piga fande, and and you're a civilian and you're fighting because he was fighting for Kenya prison. So most people that had no idea thought he was like employed, he was a prison warder. So guys are like, piga fande. It's usually fun when you're beating up a cop. Yeah, especially in a boxing fight. Everybody will come to your side. If the other guy is
Yeah,
KDF and you are a
yeah.
Raya, everybody's on your side. Yeah, and you're younger and him is a big name. Third round was interesting. It was kind of balanced, but he ended up outscoring me. Yeah, he
Okay,
ended up
okay.
outscoring me. Plus, it was interesting. I had no injuries. I wasn't nose bleeding. I was okay. Like physically, I was okay, but
Yeah.
I'd gone through hell. Like,
Uh,
yeah,
did
it
he give
was.
you the respect after? Did
Yeah,
he
yeah, 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 yeah,
uh,
yeah,
okay, okay, good.
yeah. Kim,
Good.
Kim, Kim. He became a good friend. We used to talk and stuff. But some of these
Nice.
guys were living a double life. Yeah. So Kim is one of those guys that were out there. And going back to the hood, Gidurai. You've heard of Gidurai? You've never heard
No,
of
I've
Gidurai.
not. No,
You haven't seen the
no.
memes where if you're walking around with your phone in Gidurai, or the meme if you buy something in Gidurai. It's an interesting place. Yeah, Gidurai
Okay.
used to be one of the toughest place back in the days, because most of the guys that came up in those areas were boxers. Boxing was big in our hood. So you'd find like even going to the clubs, when you go to clubs and maybe you are fighting people from other areas like Dandora, Uruma. We used to have those things. These things you used to see in movies where like guys from other areas didn't like guys from other areas. Like it was legit. Plus, you're going to clubs and you're like in Form 1, Form 2. Jam session was still a thing. I don't know if you guys went to jam session. It's like clubbing, but during the day, like on Sunday, clubs were open. On Sundays, you'd go without the ID. Just clubbing, you buy like one soda. Kids were not allowed to take alcohol. But alcohol used to find its way because there were those sachet alcohol. They used to call them American on a sachet. I don't know if you've heard of them. They used to go for like 10 bob. And then there was Sapphire, which used to come in a plastic bottle. It used to go for like 25 bob. Yeah. So you'd go downtown town.
I think me and Rishi are not from the hood. We can't relate
No,
to
no, no.
these
It
things.
wasn't from the hood. It was if you ask guys from the guys who are like in their 30s going up, they remember. Like they were such it
Yeah,
like
okay.
like those one bob ice, the ones you buy in the streets. Yeah, it was just a sachet polythene. You just buy it 10 bob. It was like 15 ml.
Okay, okay.
So
Right.
you'd buy those ones, drink them before you go to the clubbing. Then you go to clubbing, maybe someone is hitting on a chick from your hood. And mind you, from my hood, like you'd find like we are like in that club, maybe they're like 15 guys from my hood, and chances are high that all of them are boxers. So anytime a fight would break out, it was like it used to be fun, it used to be interesting. So through that, going to clubs at an early age, most of the guys got into crime because people wanted to like wear the nicest shoes. Timberlands were not yet the shit, they were caterpillars. Like guys, people from posh places used to wear Timberlands. Guys from the hood, caterpillar was the shit. They used to go for 10 G's. 10 G's was a lot of money. Like I remember back then, like we used to live in a 3 bedroomed house in Zimmerman, and we used to pay 6K. So imagine someone wearing a 10K shoes. And
Yeah.
this is someone in form 3, form 2. Yeah. So most guys, plus ladies in the hood, used to love guys who are into crime. I don't know what was so fascinating about them. But most guys would get into boxing because there's this other interesting aspect that anytime when you discuss boxing in Gidurai 44 and Gidurai 45, you have to bring it because there used to be Gidurai 40. You know Roysambu, where Roysambu is at? Kasarani, Safari Park, then there's Roysambu. So there's Zimmerman, Gidurai. So in Gidurai 44, there's a boxing club. Across the road, Gidurai 45, there's another boxing club. Then Kahawa Barracks, Kahawa, there's a boxing club. Then Soweto, there's a boxing club. So boxing clubs we used to have so many clubs around that area. So each time we'd go to clubbing or we meet in town, anybody from those hoods, it's like here, it's like Kapsoya, Langas, Huruma, people that live in Eldoret know what I'm talking about. So guys used to come to the gym to learn boxing. Then you'd had maybe 1 or 2 fights, yeah, then you'll get accepted to go and make money at the stage. So there's a thing we usually called kamagera. These guys that usually like beba, they fill in the matatu, then they get 20 bob. You've seen. So in order for you to get into that hustle,
Just that explanation for those who don't understand that actually. Think of India. Think of a rickshaw or a tuk tuk, as some people call it, and they try to fill 1,000 people into one rickshaw. The same
yeah,
situation in Kenya into one
yeah,
van.
yeah. So what used to happen, you'd fill a matatu without asking the conductor or the driver. Then you ask for 10 shillings. If they don't give you, you have to beat them up. So like they had to respect you. So that's how Kamagera started. Then after time, other places like even here in Eldoret, when you go to the market where people bought vehicles, you'll find guys filling up the matatu. They're not going. They'll even bring in their friends to sit in the matatu so that you think it's packed. So once you go into the matatu, you start seeing those guys going out one by one. So you realize you're the first person in the matatu. Yeah, so that's what they used to do. So in order for you to start doing that, you'd had to start with boxing, then go to the stage, then start making 20 bob and stuff. It was a hassle. So most of our colleagues would drop out of school because now you're a boxer, you can fight, and you have a hassle. You can get like a crib somewhere. Then it reaches a point where you can't self-sustain, then you get into crime. So that's how Modo got into crime. Our friend Nico
Yeah.
survived. They were shot. Modo was shot like I think 3 times. Like they were shot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was. You know when somebody dies and you know them personally, even if they were crooks, you'd still feel it because this is somebody you know. Yeah. So boxing had a bad rep back then. It had a bad rep. Yeah, but to people like me, it turned out positively. Plus me, I think my mom used to try. Like among my friends, like they used to feel like I felt privileged. Yeah, being in the same environment, and my friends, most of my friends, their first TV they came to watch in our house. Yeah, the first refrigerator they saw, it was in our house. Like I'd just bring them over, then steal some ice cubes to show them we have a refrigerator in our house. Yeah. So I kind of felt privileged. Plus, us we weren't that bad off, even if the environment was, yeah. Plus I did, yeah. Plus also, having that urge to take somebody else's property. Some people are just born with it. Then it happens you're in that environment. Because I've seen people raised in nice places and they'll take something from you for the sake of taking it. Yeah, somebody is landed, somebody was brought up nice, then they end up becoming a thug for the love of it. Yeah. So for some of us, like boxing was kind of an escape, because by the time you're like in form 2, form 3, and guys are always just sitting there on the stone, naitanga kukalia mawe, when you find just guys idling in the estate. Me, I'd be in the gym training. Yeah. So even more, yeah.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, did you have any inspirations in boxing? Like, who was your
Yeah, yeah,
favorite
yeah, yeah, yeah,
boxer?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was
Iron Mike
uh,
Tyson. Like
Iron Mike? Yeah, yeah.
all boxers that grew up in the 90s, Iron Mike Tyson was the shit. Yeah, I'd watch. Yeah, I remember Iron Mike Tyson's fight versus Lennox Lewis. I was so heartbroken. Yeah, after before he got the tattoo, because he had a cut, he had a nasty cut in his eye, so he had to put the tattoo up. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
got
yeah,
he
yeah.
got the tattoo because of the cut. I didn't know that.
No, maybe he wanted to put the tattoo, but it was a
Okay,
nasty cut. It was a nasty cut.
okay, okay.
So just to cover or to remember,
Right,
the next
right.
time we were
I see.
seeing Mike Tyson, he was having a mean ass tattoo.
Uh,
Is there a documentary you had mentioned once regarding Mike Tyson for
Yeah, yeah,
our
yeah,
listeners
yeah.
to watch?
Yeah, I think I'll have to get it. I don't know if it's in YouTube, but I once had a CD. Yeah. One of the coaches gave us a CD. I used to have a CD about his early life and all his fights from when he was fighting in amateur. Most of you guys saw him when he was already fighting at pro. When he was fighting in amateur boxing, and he lost to a certain guy, and he was robbed. He was, I think, he was around 17. He was a junior. Yeah, he was robbed. I don't know I don't know his name, but he later fought the same guy when he was a pro. He later almost killed the guy in the ring. I can't remember his name. Yeah, the same guy that defeated him. Yeah, they later on met.
Right.
Um,
So just while we're on the topic of Mike Tyson, what do you think
yeah.
about the most recent entertainment versus Jake Paul? Just some comments on
Uh,
that.
WWE. WWE. It was scripted. Mark Tyson was pulling his punches. He was even biting the gloves. Later, when the commentators
yeah,
were
yeah.
asking him, "Yo, Mike, why you biting your gloves?" Then Mike was like, he said something funny. He said he had a biting situation, and everybody remembers him biting Evander Holyfield's ear. So it was so funny because it was either he bites the glove or he bites Jake. It was Jake Paul, or what's his name? It's Jake Paul and who? It was Jake Paul. Who was fighting? Jake Paul.
Yeah, Jake Paul, Jake Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, Jake Paul and Logan Paul. So he had a biting situation. So everybody that remembers the Evander Holyfield fight, it was hilarious, but most people didn't get it. It was like, yeah, Mike, why were you biting your gloves? I had the biting situation. Yeah, but it was insane. Plus, also, he was frustrated because the contract he signed, he wasn't allowed to knock him out. There's a time
Right.
at the corner he was
Okay.
even crying. Mike Tyson is psychotic. If you really watch the fight, there's a part he was crying in the corner. Yeah. So there's this rich Arab guy that was telling Mike Tyson he needs them to do a rematch in, I think in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, and if he knocks Jake Paul out unscripted in the first round in under 3 minutes, is giving him, it was 20 million USD, something crazy, like 21 million USD. Yeah, yeah, but maybe he's just doing it for clout, but you never know. The legit fight that happened was 2 years ago. Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that
And
one.
you
Yeah.
know, Roy Jones was a beast, he was a legend, and Mike Tyson was fighting as he was fighting the way he used to fight back in the days. So not much has changed. Even the way Mike Tyson was moving, if you really watch the fight right now, yeah, like it was scripted, like super
All right. Yeah.
scripted.
To be honest, I'm not a fan of like these showboat boxing. Like, I mean, I like to watch
Yeah,
the proper boxing. You know, I don't
yeah,
like all
yeah.
this. So to be honest, I didn't watch it.
But
But you know, I like Mike Tyson, for example. I didn't watch him when he was in his prime, but you know, you see videos of him, and man, he was such a beast. Like, you could see just the way his whole
when
attitude. You don't know even his fighting. It's just
yeah,
the way he talks, his eyes,
when
his face. It's just like
when
you
he
know he's there to smash
yeah,
you.
when he said, "I want to eat your children."
Yeah. Oh man, like, how can you not be scared? You know, when you're coming up against someone like that.
Yeah, but look at the
Um,
brighter side. Like the old man got paid
yeah. True.
20
True. You
20
have
million
to
USD. Like a
you have
win
to
is a win.
respect it.
Yeah, a win
That's
is a
true.
win.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
but it was a good business strategy.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now, like from the current boxing, current boxing environment, who are the boxers that you like? Who do you think is upcoming?
Ooh,
Who
Terence
are,
Bud
yeah.
Crawford. Anytime, any day. There's a
Okay.
guy called Terence Bud
Right.
Crawford.
Yeah.
That's the shit.
He's multiple time world champion, right? He's
Yeah,
multiple
yeah, yeah,
across
yeah,
multiple. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's one. We usually say yeah, multiple divisions. Yep. Terence Bud Crawford is the shit right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
He's the
Terence.
is he
Plus,
pound for pound? Would you say he's number
yeah,
one?
yeah, 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 yeah. No, okay. Right now, I feel like it was Canelo, but right now it's Bud Crawford. Most people are always ducking Crawford. Like people that know boxing, they tell you it's Crawford or Bivol. There's this Russian guy, the one who lost Juicy. That fight was
Dimitri Bivol. Is it
yeah,
Dimitri
yeah, I
Bivol?
felt like he won.
Okay.
Like most legit fighters thought he won. The other guy is also good. We have Canelo. Canelo is also up there. Yeah. Gavonta Tank Davis is up there. Who else? Who else? Gypsy King is still up there. Like he's one of the best boxers we have.
How about
Tyson Fury.
Usyk?
Oh,
What do you think?
after Bud Crawford, I think after Bud Crawford maybe Usyk,
Okay. Yeah.
Canelo. That's my list. Yeah, I was sleeping on Usyk. Then Bivol. Yeah.
Yeah.
But me,
Okay.
Bud Crawford, anytime, any day, that guy is a killer. And he did wrestling in college. So I think in the future he might make an appearance in MMA. He did wrestling.
Right. I see. So
Yeah.
I also want to talk a bit about MMA, but before MMA, I also wanted to ask you about Floyd Mayweather. Now he's known as, like the greatest because he went undefeated, 50 and
Yeah, yeah,
0.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So
quite
I'd
an
ask you,
achievement.
like, well, what are your opinions on that, and why do you think he was so good? Like, why was he undefeated?
Okay, back in the days, I never used to like Floyd so much because I was a Manny Pacquiao fan. Like I was a big Manny Pacquiao fan. But later on, I started appreciating what Floyd has done for the industry, and being a fighter and a promoter, uh, Floyd managed to change the game for us. Yeah, and also fighting the way he fights. Floyd back when before Floyd became Floyd Money Mayweather. Floyd was a beast. He used to KO guys. Floyd was a go and watch when Floyd was younger. He was a
Okay.
beast back then. He still
Okay.
is, but he stopped fighting hard and started fighting smart. And when he became a promoter and making all the big money, because he realized mostly boxing is rigged. Yeah. And if you go there and
Okay.
you're good, you will end up making money for other people. So he decided to take a different route. So me, I usually look at Floyd as a genius. Like, in order for him right now to become like one of the richest athletes in the world, it's a lot. Like what he's achieved is crazy. Though I'm still a Manny Pacquiao fan, but I appreciate what Floyd has done for the industry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He used to call himself TBE.
The best ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. He used to compare himself to all those other guys, and I noted something about life nowadays. If you don't give yourself the credit when you're still alive, nobody will. They'll wait when you've
Yeah.
died. Once you
Yeah,
died, then they're like, that guy was the best ever.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
obviously we can't speak about boxing without talking about Muhammad Ali. So what are your,
Cassius,
he has a lot of, yeah,
Cassius
Cassius
Clay.
Clay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of
Cassius.
iconic, again, like before our time, but he
Yeah,
has so many iconic fights, Rumble in the Jungle, Thriller in
yeah,
Manila. These are things
yeah.
that stay on for so many years.
Muhammad Ali is like the best ever because he's the first person ever, yeah, to market himself the way he was supposed to. All the trash talking, it started from him. Like back in the days, boxers were just quiet but killers. Then Muhammad Ali started talking trash, and Muhammad Ali was mostly a philosopher. That guy was learned also, and he knew what he was doing. And he was one of the guys who discovered trash talking markets sells the fights. Because when you're trash talking and you're good, people want to see you lose. Yeah, you talk so much. So Muhammad Ali was one of the first boxers to capture the media's attention because most media houses would come only during the fight. But when Muhammad Ali came into the picture, they'd follow him around. They'll go to his gyms. I remember when Muhammad Ali was fighting. I really can't remember his name. But his first title fight, if I'm not forgetting, this guy was from the mafia. I can't remember. There's a time Tyson mentioned him. He was called Sonny Liston. Yeah. There's a part where Mohammed Tyson usually said, I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, I'm all these guys combined.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
a
yes,
god.
I
You've
remember
heard
this.
that?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
Sonny Liston was a straight killer. This guy was in the mob. This is one of the guys they'd send to come and collect if you owe them. So what Muhammad Ali did with Sonny Liston was so interesting because he made his blood pressure rise. He almost didn't fight. The first time they were supposed to fight, Sonny Liston's blood pressure was so high. He was so angry they couldn't fight. The doctors had to call off the fight. Yeah, it was that bad. Muhammad Ali would wake up and come to your door at 3 a.m. in the morning with the media and start abusing you in your front porch. Talk about marketing. Yeah. So he's one of the guys that put us on the map. And it was during a time when TV was becoming a thing and people were watching TV. Back then,
I
people would
just
listen.
wish there were more clips. I just wish there were a lot more clips of him because like
They're
we were
there.
lucky enough to watch so much of Mike Tyson, right? Like I think almost everything is there, like on televised
Yeah.
situation.
Even
But
Ali, they're there. They're there. Some. If you really, really look, they're there. Like that's how I got to know all these things by watching documentaries as a kid and stuff. And you grew up watching this thing. I remember there's a fight we watched on a projector. Which fight was it? It wasn't like TVs were not there, but they'll just bring in a projector for the fun of it. And people would pay like 5 bob. You sit somewhere in an estate, they get the curtain and stuff, and everybody's watching. And maybe it's a fight you had watched before on TV. Yeah. But the media used to follow Muhammad Ali around. Even when he went to Iraq and talked to Saddam Hussein, and Saddam had to release the captured U.S. citizens that were there. Like he made that happen. You remember when they were going to fight Rumble in the Jungle? Yeah. Also, he did a lot in Africa. Same as Bob Marley. Muhammad Ali, Bob Marley, they were more of like the same. If they were coming in town and there was rebels and people were fighting and stuff, they'll pause, go watch Muhammad Ali, then come back to business.
Yeah. I remember because you mentioned Sonny Liston. Is there's a famous picture like him? You knocked down Sonny Liston first minute, first
Yeah,
round.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
Sonny Liston is
Like,
on the floor like that, and Muhammad Ali is standing on top.
cause
I remember.
Sonny Liston lost that fight before it even began.
Right, because of
Yeah.
everything outside the
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because
Yeah,
this guy was in the mob. This was one of the most feared guys in the ring and outside the ring, and he was the champion. Muhammad Ali was coming in as an underdog, and he was abusing the shit out of this guy.
wow,
If it would have
amazing.
been in a different scenario, these guys would have even killed him because it was insane. Plus, people are not used to that.
Yeah. Correct, correct. Nice, nice. Very interesting. So I mean, before we end, I also want to touch a bit about because you mentioned you're into MMA as well. And
Yeah.
so to talk your thoughts on MMA and UFC, because for me, like I started watching MMA around like maybe like 2015 when the Conor McGregor wave started. I started with
Ooh.
that because
Yeah.
that was when it became like you know again it's the same thing with boxing where the trash talk and everything you're watching you just can't take your eyes off it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but since then I've really come to like it because it's so raw. Like it's literally is nothing. It's just you and the guy and nothing
Yeah. Yeah.
else.
So
And
Conor
yeah,
Conor McGregor did what Muhammad Ali did to boxing.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he brought it out there with the trash talking and everything. Conor McGregor is one of the best things. Dana White usually say he's one of the best things to ever happen to MMA. Yeah, because it brings some
I
element
think he put MMA on the map,
on the
like
map.
for
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
world map for sure.
Because even before MMA was there, Conor McGregor and Brock Lesnar. Because Brock Lesnar brought all the WWE fans to MMA. Yeah. Then Conor McGregor like brought it into mainstream. Can I say mainstream? Mainstream media. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Conor did that, and it was a good thing for the business, despite
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah. Then merging Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather was insane.
Yeah, that was crazy also.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
Though,
watching that.
though it was fixed. Mayweather carried him through the rounds. If he
Yeah,
would have wanted to knock him out,
true.
it would have happened. Though even Muhammad Ali once participated in an MMA fight.
Oh, really? Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. But it wasn't in a cage. It was in a boxing ring, and this
Okay.
guy was kicking the shit out of his legs. There's a funny video where Muhammad Ali is like hanging on the ropes and he's swinging his legs, and the other guy is down on the ground. You've seen that video? The other guy is like kicking on his back. The guy was a the guy was like a jiu-jitsu judo-ish type of fighter. So Muhammad Ali was hanging like literally dangling. It was funny. Yeah, but some of
Right.
those shows weren't as even this other boxer once participated in an MMA fight called James Tony. Yeah, big trash talker. Just like there's Muhammad Ali, then there's James Tony. Best trash talkers in the business.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see, I
Just
see.
yeah, just go and write James Tony.
I'll go check it out. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
check it
yeah,
out
yeah.
for
He's,
sure.
he's
Nice.
still alive though. Yeah, like the face
Uh,
you've seen him somewhere.
Okay, okay. I'll check. I'll check. And so now, like in MMA and in UFC, who are the people at the moment that is John? Now, obviously, everyone is saying John Jones is the goat.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
do you
yeah,
agree, John
yeah,
Jones or Khabib? Who do you
yeah.
think is
I'm more of a Khabib fan. But
okay?
Khabib
Okay,
retired. John Jones is still fighting. Yeah, so we can discuss John Jones right now. But the fighter that I'm really vouching for right now, in MMA, I think I'll go for Chama.
Chama.
Yeah,
Who's that?
you
Is
don't know Chama. He's always saying Chama.
oh
He's always
really?
knocking everybody out. Knocked Adesanya the first fight. Alex Pereira.
Oh, Alex Pereira. Right, right. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
okay.
always saying Chama. I don't
Uh,
know if that's the
okay.
only English he knows, but
Uh,
yeah, Alex Pereira. That's my guy right now. Yeah, like
yeah, he's
anytime I
a
see
he's a
Alex,
beast.
I was a big Adesanya fan, still am, but
Yeah,
currently right now I love Alex more.
Alex Pereira. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. He's like yeah. John Jones wants to fight Alex Pereira, but Dana White was like, no, you have to fight your mandatory. You have to fight Aspinall. And I feel like soon Pereira will come to heavyweight, but these heavyweight guys, their wrestling is good. But if you stand in front of Alex Pereira, it's night night. The only the only advantage people feel like Alex Pereira won't stand a chance, and they're right against John Jones. Even Adesanya wouldn't stand a chance against John Jones because of the wrestling.
Yeah,
But
I think
when
the weight is the weight difference. I think you won't be able to
These
just
guys,
well the body, right?
like Adesanya is taller than Pereira. Pereira is like John Jones's height. These guys are huge. They're tall, but they'll need to take at least 2 years off to add the right weight. Because remember when John Jones refused to fight Ngannou and went mute
Yeah,
to
yeah,
add weight.
yeah.
But I still feel like I still feel like Ngannou KOs John Jones. Ngannou KOs anybody, anytime, any day.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
Ngannou, he's like a
Plus,
different specimen. Like
plus
I don't so much
his
muscle.
wrestling is different. His wrestling has
Yeah.
improved. But I have hopes. I feel like he'll make a comeback into the UFC to fight John Jones.
You think also I think for MMA at least that in UFC is when the big money is. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause
right?
what he's doing right now, he's outside. So you never know. Maybe it was a ploy to get John Jones to fight at heavyweight, then make him come back. Cause Dana White is a serious businessman, ruthless
True.
businessman.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
That is
So
true.
you might think they're not in good times, then boom. The guy Ngannou KO'd the other day, that guy was good. Like, he was one of the most feared guys, and you saw what Ngannou did to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Ngannou mopped the floor. Picture the way John Jones fought with recently. This tell me his name.
Miocic.
Miocic,
Stipe
Stipe.
Miocic. Yeah. Yeah.
You saw the way John Jones fought with Stipe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now you watched the rematch, Stipe versus Ngannou.
Yeah, yeah.
You saw
that,
Ngannou's
that
boxing,
was
and you saw
yeah,
Ngannou's
that was
ground game.
yeah.
I feel like Ngannou versus John Jones. That's going to be John Jones's first loss because it's going to end up with a brutal KO. And you know, John Jones has never been hit so hard. The only people that have hit John Jones so hard is Alexander Gustafsson. The fight that people thought Gustafsson won, and this guy that was KO'd by Alex. This light heavyweight guy. What's his name? I can't remember, but there are two guys. This guy that gave him a run for his money after the John Jones fight, he kind of tiptoed tiptoed a
Is it
little.
a Jiri something?
No, not Pocheska. Pocheska came later on after John Jones left. Yeah, it's okay, but Ngannou is the guy. But John Jones didn't brush off the idea of fighting Ngannou in the future, whether in the UFC or outside. Yeah, and I feel
But
like
also they know that's the money fight, right? Like
yeah, and I feel like John Jones is a crazy dude. I think he can decide to go to PLF after Ngannou because
maybe.
that guy is not John Jones is not scared of anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
he's
Yeah.
just smart about it. My guy got defeated the other day, got KO'd brutally. Max Holloway. It was sad to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, he's also a beast to be honest. He can take some punches.
yeah.
But yeah.
There's this guy, but he's not so big. This guy from Dagestan, but he is from what's his name? This middleweight, the one who's
Oh yeah,
dominating.
Makachev. Makachev.
Oof, that's the guy to
Yeah,
watch.
he's
Yeah, it's
also
a
a crazy
beast.
guy. Like, hey,
Yeah,
he's
you
a
know
beast as
Makachev
well.
in training he wrestles heavyweights and stuff.
Oh wow, really? Yeah. Oh,
So if
yeah.
he gets the middleweight belt, I think he'll want to come
Okay.
to light heavyweight. But everybody's afraid of light heavyweight because of Chama. Everybody's afraid of Alex Pereira. Yeah, yeah.
Just for
Plus Pocheska was saying Pereira is using some voodoo type of shit.
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most people, even Adesanya said, uh, that there's usually something weird when you're fighting Pereira. It's like, you know, all the aura and stuff and where it's from, and they are into those traditional what do you call them? Those traditional healers. There's a name they usually call them.
The witch doctors.
No. They call
Huh?
them shaman.
Oh, the shaman. Okay.
Yeah. So most guys usually say like there's usually something different when you're fighting Pereira. But me, I feel like the guy is just plus the guy is a world class kickboxer. So you remember he defeated Adesanya twice in kickboxing, then
Yeah,
defeated
yeah,
him once
correct.
in MMA. Yeah, then Adesanya almost went for a retire, then came back, cried, then KO'd Pereira. It was poetic. But
Just by
Adesanya
the
was
way,
asked.
if you're wondering where I went, we were talking about carb loading and bulking, so I got quite hungry, so I decided to go and have a fat meal. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
disappeared for a bit, but I was here.
yeah, yeah. You even look chubbier. It's like your cheeks. Something has changed. Yeah,
I'm
you even
happy.
look. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So I think like I have one final question before we end it. Is like, how do you see boxing and fighting in Kenya or in Africa going forward in the future? Because it's not as prevalent and as thing as in, let's say, in America or
Mhm.
elsewhere. So what are your thoughts on like the fight game going forward in Kenya and
Okay.
Africa?
Okay. Let me start with MMA. MMA currently is not doing well. It's kind of dead. And the reason being, the only person that was promoting MMA is called Steven Omwenga, a very good friend of mine, and he was doing it solely. He didn't have sponsors or anybody. So it reached a time it was too draining on his pocket. Yeah. So currently, right now, he's just focusing on taking guys to fight in South Africa, Nigeria, and stuff. But currently, not much is happening in the world of MMA in Kenya. Boxing, surprisingly, things are looking good. Like we're having so many professional. Like every month we are having a fight. Like people in Nairobi are doing crazy shit. Yeah, every
Yeah,
every
that's
month
good.
they are hosting a boxing event, and it's beginning to look at least prettier. Back in the days, boxing in Kenya used to look weird. Right now,
Right.
they are trying to market it nicely. Yeah, but we still need to do more. We still need to put it into people's faces. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah. Are there some names that we should
oh,
look out for?
we have some of the best boxers in Africa, like Rayton Okwiri. There's this is it WBC Africa? The WBC belt, we have one for Africa, is the one holding the belt, middleweight
Okay, okay.
category. Rayton Okwiri back during the amateurs, there's a time he was ranked number 2 in the world. Yeah. We have Rayton Okwiri, you have my guy Billabong, the one I mentioned earlier, he's based in the US. We have Hurricane, Eric Odiambo. We have so many guys. We have,
Hey, don't forget yours truly, yourself.
yeah,
We'll be seeing you there with all
Uh,
the belts.
we have, yeah, we have Coach Seba, best coach in town. Yeah, crazy
yeah,
as they come. Yeah,
yeah,
crazy as they
coach.
come.
Coach, don't forget us. When you make
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
make it to the big
Yeah,
stage. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So currently, what I'm doing, I'm just focused on like trying to grow boxing in Eldoret. Because before I came here, it was just the Rishi has a punching bag, so that's how far boxing had gotten. Rishi has a punching bag downstairs, so that's how far Eldoret's boxing had gotten. But currently, right now, we had to come up with an association. Oh, by the way, through the boxing association, the sports council, Wasengishu County Sports Council, I was selected as a youth representative. So I'm hoping through those channels I can manage to like do something with boxing locally. So first, in order for me to grow boxing in LD, I'll have to start with amateur boxing, start doing like local amateur fights. Though they don't pay, but it will be a good way to start. So that by the time we are venturing into professional boxing, at least we'll be having guys graduating from amateur to professional boxing. That's the right track to follow. But in Kenya, boxing is growing. It's becoming bigger. Oh, the other day, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday, there were African Armed Forces games. Kenya managed to get 3 medals. Kevin managed to get a gold medal at flyweight category. He's from my gym, the gym where I grew up in. He's fighting for KDF. We had Mbiximbi there. I also got a medal. And there's this other chick. She's called Freezer. She also got a medal. This is the day before yesterday. So this was Africa Wild Forces, Africa Armed Forces Games. So I think Kenya managed to. I think we became number one or number two, because Egypt is usually up there.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice, nice. Okay, we'll keep a lookout, and we hope that boxing is growing in Eldoret and in Kenya. We hope to see your name, in the big stages as well soon.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a certified national coach by BFK, Boxing Federation of Kenya.
Okay,
So
amazing,
maybe you'll be
amazing.
seeing me bringing up guys. Because
Yeah,
nigga just turned 33 years old.
yeah. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I'm a grandpa
yeah,
right now.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice,
but
nice.
I might fight next year.
Okay,
Professional maybe. I might have maybe 1 or 2 fights.
okay, amazing, amazing. We'll keep a lookout for you
Okay.
in those fights as well. Um, yeah, I mean, there's no more questions from my side. Rishi, you wanna do the final segment?
Okay, we move on to the final part of the podcast, our favorite rapid fire questions. Yeah, so let's get at it. The first question I've got for you today is, what is the best quote, phrase you have ever heard?
Die if you have to. I'm
By the
always
way,
telling Rishi that.
yeah, I was just going to say, this
just
guy, it's
just
true,
get it
but it
done. Die
helps.
if you have to. Yeah.
It
I'm
helps. It helps. It really helps.
yeah. Yeah, I'll say sorry just in case if you happen to take me to court. I'll be like, but I said sorry. But die if you have to, or life happens. Life
Actually,
happens
that
is
is a very
usually my
true.
main quote. Yeah.
When like example, Sebastian is training me in the gym, and I'm literally dying, and I'm trying to complain to him, so he'll just tell me I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
But die
So
if you have to. Yeah.
on to question number 2. If you could fight any one person, who would it be? It doesn't have to be a boxer. It could be anyone.
If I could fight one person, I'd fight the laziest work colleague at my workplace. Like, these people are so draining. Yeah. Like, and you get paid, maybe you get paid the same, but this guy is always just sitting there without a care in the world. And you'll have to do extra to make everybody look good. So I won't mention their names, but that one work colleague, they know themselves.
Fair enough.
Okay, but who's one boxer that you would love to fight? Your dream opponent
Uh,
from
uh, uh,
history or present as well, like anyone.
I'd go with present. I wouldn't want to fight Terence Bud Crawford because he'd kill me. But fighting Lomachenko would be a dream come true. This is one of the most skilled boxers we've ever seen. That guy dances in the ring. He's smooth. He's a two-time Olympic gold medalist. Yeah, he's from Ukraine. Like, if I was to stand in front of an opponent, I'd be honored to let him punch me on the face.
Okay, nice,
Oh, very
nice.
nice. Very nice. All right. On to question number 3. What is a song recommendation you would give to our listeners?
Song recommendation. I have a bunch of songs I'd recommend, but mostly the one that usually comes to mind, yeah, is "Run Boy Run." Na 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 na, run
Yeah,
boy
that's a good
run.
one. That's a good one.
I, I
Nice,
use
I
I
like
use
it.
I use
By
that on the
Woodkid, I think.
stairmaster. Yeah, Woodkid. I use that on the stairmaster almost every day. Ama when I'm running and I'm almost tired and I'm like, it's playing in my. I'm like, oof.
All right. So, question number 4. What is your dream travel destination?
Ooh, dream travel destination. I'd like to go to Thailand and learn some Muay Thai, learn how to kick people in the legs. That's the go-to place. Like, or Cuba. If it's boxing, I'd like to go to Cuba. But
Well,
if
at
it's
least,
Muay
at
Thai,
least, at least you're going to Thailand for the right reasons.
yeah,
A lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
people
yeah,
go
yeah.
there
No,
for other
like,
reasons.
yeah, some of us we are wired differently. Like, yeah, I'd like to go to Thailand for like 2 years, come back at another level. Or
All right. Question number 5. If you had the choice to live for 1,000 years, would you? But it would be only you, no one else.
That's fucked up. I'd rather just we all die. Maybe we are going to a better place. You know, the funny thing with dying, you never know, because most of us are always scared of the unknown. Maybe it's way cool up there. Maybe you never know.
Okay, interesting,
Yeah. So
interesting.
me, if there's a nuclear bomb, let's go out. Edge of glory.
That is fair enough. All right,
Yeah.
the second last question. What is one rather interesting hobby you have outside of work?
Yeah. Oh, editing stuff. Okay, I'm not good at graphics design, but I've shown you shit that I'm always working on my phone. Like I have this logo maker that I'm always taking pictures. I get an idea, I go, I make a logo, I put it somewhere. So I usually spend hours on my phone just seated, yeah, making logos and stuff. But I enjoy doing it on my phone because it's convenient. Sometimes when I'm so hammered at work, I just go sit in the loo for like 2 minutes, then make something, then come back fresh.
It's a good place to
Yeah,
clear the mind, body, and
yeah,
soul.
yeah. Though the logos are bad, they're not nice. They're not yet there, but
That's good. It's good. Well, good luck on that.
yeah,
No,
true.
no, but that brings us to the end of this very nice, long, and exciting podcast. We do appreciate, definitely. But as usual, to all our listeners out there, like, subscribe. If you want to reach out to Coach, kindly do, send out a message, and we'll get you in touch with him. Any piece of advice you want from him, if you want him to tell you he's sorry, he will do that. Don't worry. Just feel free to reach out, and
We
yeah,
ap-
that's it from me.
we apologize.
Yeah, coach. No, thanks again for your time. I know this has been a long one, but I think it's been very interesting. There are a lot of
Mm,
those experiences which you talk about are things that we would never ever come across. So it's interesting
yeah,
to learn from someone who's experienced something completely different to
yeah,
us. So
yeah.
thank you again for your time, and yeah, and to everyone else listening, thank you. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. As Rishi said, if there's anything you want to ask regarding fitness or boxing, we can always send your questions to the coach. And yeah, if you like this podcast, give a like, give a subscribe, give us a rating, and yeah, until next time, we will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.